Our topic of discussion today is about vaccination. Why do we vaccinate our goats? Why is it of utmost importance? Some of us have discussed this issue of vaccination with quite a number of you. And some of you will go like, I have a local herd, I'll not vaccinate. I have a few goats, I'll not vaccinate. My goats are just alone on the farm. There are no other animals on the farm. I don't see any need to vaccinate. But remember, to have a healthy herd and a productive one, and a herd that is economically viable, now it is a must for every farmer to vaccinate. If you have not been vaccinating your goats against the several infections, this is your time to listen in to this video. Actually, when we are growing up as young children, we used to have our own small birds at home, and they used to grow. They would multiply in numbers so many times, they would multiply on their own. But what is so funny nowadays, that even with your local hens at home, if you don't throw in a vaccine of Newcastle, or if you don't throw in a vaccine of Gumboro, your hens will die there and then. So what is different with the goats? This is your video to watch. Some of you, you are lucky that for us when we started in 2015, we didn't have access to these vaccines. But now, when you go downtown, like for us in Kampala, there are quite a number of vaccines, almost for every infection. It is your pocket that controls you and how you go about it. For a farmer thinking about commercialization, and your idea of commercialization does not involve use of fertilizers, does not involve vaccinating your animals, does not involve using the available technology to improve on your productivity, to create efficiency on your farm, I think I wouldn't advise you to go into those kind of ventures. At the end of the day, you are one of the people that will be getting poor results, or no results at all, or poor yields, or low productivity on your farm. When you vaccinate your herds, you are preventing your goats from having a number of opportunistic infections on your farm. Quite a number. And we are so lucky of late that most of the vaccines are a 2-in-1. For example, PPR has stroke pox. You can vaccinate PPR and also vaccinate pox at the same time. Clostridios, if you are vaccinating against Clostridio infections, this comes with a cocktail of other infections you are trying to eliminate from your farm. So if you have been given such a cocktail, what stops you from vaccinating your goats, dear farmers? These vaccines are available in most shops downtown. The trucks, these trucks come in from different walks of life, and usually they may come from one farm, farm A, to farm B, and this farm already has pox or PPR. Usually those tires carry the germs to your farm unknowingly. This is something most of you didn't know. For instance, at my farm, I sell animal dung, cow dung, and goat's manure. And we usually, on a weekly basis, we have several trucks coming over. But just to put yourself in my shoes, this same truck has come from different other farms. Maybe it is also collecting manure from those farms. And those farms, it so happens that one of those farms had pox on their farms. Are you aware that that truck will bring the same pox to my farm? Are you aware of that? So as a farmer experiencing this, if this situation has come to your farm and it found you when you have already vaccinated, you'll be already covered. But also on the same note, also put enough biosecurity measures on your farm. For example, a tire bath, where every gate or every entrance, every car that passes through or is entering your gate passes through a solution or a disinfectant that kills those germs prior to entering your farm. Or if you cannot afford to have that, at least have a garden sprayer with a disinfectant. There are several disinfectants on the market, and then spray the tires of that truck prior to coming in to your farm or going out to the farm. Remember, the same trucks you are bringing to your farms, or you are bringing it to your farms to bring the animals, they end up in the markets. And when they end up in the markets, these markets have category. They have a collection of quite a number of animals from different farms. Farms that do not vaccinate at all, farms that vaccinate. So the same truck is coming back to your farm to bring you animals. How sure are you that it's not carrying the germs that are going to cause you problems and wipe out your entire herd? The best solution here would be for you to vaccinate your animals before you are hit, and then you start lamenting. Some of you as farmers have been lucky to get goats as donations, maybe from NGOs, maybe from friends, maybe from government. But usually what happens, the process, what happens behind prior to bringing these goats, do you know where they have come from? Do you know where these individuals or these groups bought them from? Usually these goats, most of them, a big number of them, they come from our markets. And when they come from our markets, most of these goats are not vaccinated. Or you are not even sure about their status, whether they have been vaccinated or not. And they are coming into your farm. What stops you from vaccinating them? These markets have a collection of all types of animals, the good and the bad, those with defects, the ones with lots and lots of infections, and you are introducing these goats to your farm from the market. Please, some of the things you should consider before introducing those goats to the goats already in your farm is to vaccinate those goats. You don't know what may befall you if you just bring in those goats and mix them with your herd without vaccination. Because you are going to rely on the words of another farmer, or you are going to rely on the words of a broker whom you are not even sure that is aware of what a vaccine is all about. Because some of us actually have come to believe that we don't differentiate between vaccination and mere treatment, giving treatment to a goat. I went to a farm recently, and the manager could not differentiate between what vaccination is all about and mere treatment. Actually, for him, he thought deworming a goat, it is one way of vaccinating a goat. It's not the way. It is of utmost importance to you as a farmer to revaccinate them unless somebody has given you proof that these goats have really been vaccinated. In Uganda, currently, most of our districts are experiencing a lot of rains. What does it mean to a goat farmer watching me? If you didn't vaccinate prior to these rains starting, it means you are going to experience a lot of mortalities on your farm. But it's never too late to vaccinate these goats. Why do I emphasize so much about the rains? Every time it rains anywhere, or every time the rainy season comes about, a lot of disease-causing pathogens come out of the grounds where our goats are grazing. That even when your goats are on zero grazing, this is the time they fall sick mostly. So what stops you from vaccinating these goats in the rainy season? But do not wait for your goats to fall sick. At least this is an exercise you should have started on at least prior to the rain starting, because you know the immunity of those goats usually lowers in the rainy season because rains stress our goats at all times. So do not vaccinate your goats in the rains, but at least vaccinate them prior to the rains coming in. This brings us to the end of this episode, but our next episode, we are going to discuss about how do we go about vaccination, what to consider during vaccination, how prepared should our goats be before we vaccinate. Usually, a number of us, we think of vaccinating our goats after they have fallen sick. Is it the right thing? This you will know in our next episode that is loading after this video.